We are live for Empire State of Baseball, episode number 125 on this Monday, May the 19th, 2025, airing on Instagram, X, and YouTube, and as always, powered by StreamYard, baby! Let's go, Yankees. What a weekend, Thomas. Coming off the Subway Series in the Bronx. How we feeling, bud?
Just another weekend. We played a good team. Always good to beat a good team. So, yeah, good weekend. I'm not going to get – like I said last week, this is, it's not a huge deal. It's not a big deal. I'm not going to make a big deal about it now.
Consistency.
But it's a good team. Listen, Mets are a good team. Quality team, good offense, scrappy pitching. Had some good, exciting games. So you got to feel good about that. Joe, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling fine. Listen, we swept the Yankees last year. Do you know? And this fact came up.
People say Yankee fans talk about the past.
That the Yankees, when they beat the Mets on Friday, that was the first time they had beaten the Mets in 660 days. So listen,
didn't care.
Yankees had to get one. It's fine. The Mets are in first place. I don't care. The Mets haven't lost 3 games in a row all year. They still have the second best record in baseball. I'm not that upset. Am I upset about
your Twitter timeline today says otherwise, that you're not upset.
Well, you know what I'm upset about? I'm upset that people making a beach out of a pebble. Out of a sand pebble about the Soto stuff.
I don't know who's more upset, Joe or Juan Soto, that he's a Met.
Stuff that they're dealing with Soto, and he's miserable, and look at him, and blah, blah,
Who's
blah.
more miserable, Joe or Soto right now?
Soto has 765 million reasons to be happy. He's not miserable. He's fine.
Have you talked to him about it?
He is fine. You guys are looking into his body language.
I gotta work on my pointing here. But listen, folks. Now, first of all, Corey Favs has not taken the loss to heart. He's coming. He's on his way. He's currently running
Corey
a little
Favs
bit.
is walking the Brooklyn Bridge right now. He's trying to
come
assess
on.
the damages of that.
Not the Brooklyn Bridge. That's way too soon after everything going on over there.
He's there assessing. He was assessing the damages. Yeah, he was. Oh my. I hear Corey was 14 Coronas deep on top of in the bird's nest up there.
Stop.
He just couldn't handle it. He was like, if Juan doesn't want to be a Met, I don't want to live.
That's terrible. Well, first of all, crazy weekend for New York sports in general, folks. Because listen, even though the Mets didn't get the better of this 3-game set, New York celebrated big time Friday. The New York Knicks advance into the Eastern Conference Finals. They pick up action Wednesday against the Pacers at 8 p.m. And I was lucky to see that the Knicks were not scheduled for a Monday at 8 o'clock for like the first time in over a month, Joe. Jeez. Oh, man, that did not do well for the ratings here. But we have almost 40 people in the building off the rip, so shout out to you guys. Let's take a look at the room so far. Oh, we got Mike Pars in the building. There's no Monday party like an ESB party, 7:25 in the morning. He dropped that one. Then Jacob Petrucci shortly thereafter. Can't wait for Joe to drink his Soto tears. Why would you have Soto tears, Joe?
I don't know. Guys, we're acting like this guy. A, we're acting like this guy is hitting $180. He's not. And B, we're acting like this guy is like just the most miserable human being on the planet. Like,
that's the report. The report he's not happy being a Met.
Come on. You're talking a Bob Clappish report?
You're talking a journalist. Yeah, a journalist who has sources.
Come on, for the Newark Star Ledger. I got papers in college that have more clout than the Newark Star Ledger. No, you don't.
That's a good attempt at a joke, Joe, but it's not. He's a real reporter.
I didn't even know Bob Clappish was alive until this moment.
He's a real reporter. Listen, the story's out there.
Let me ask you something. What insight do you think Bob Clappish has to the Mets hierarchy? Who do you think? You think he's got Steve Cohen on speed dial?
You know, that's how these things work. I'm sure he has.
Passon had to tweet out that half the article was nonsense. He was saying
Passon tweeted out a private. That's a good point. That's a good point. You know, Rich, take your tea, get the hell out of here. Listen, it's a good point. Passon had to correct something about the story, but he corrected the issue about the plane. Nothing about Soto being upset. He could have corrected that, but he didn't because it's true. Clearly, he's upset. And the effort he gave this.
So how do you know Soto's upset?
I mean, look at his body. Look at the point. If he's not upset, then you guys are in for a doozy of the next 14 and a half years with the effort he gave out there this weekend.
I don't see a problem.
I can sit here and chill. That's fine too. Listen, folks, we're gonna have we have over an hour.
We're gonna give the people what they want, Rich.
We are. But I want to get to the rest of the people here first. Thomas, Jack Esposito's in the building. What's up, Jack? You can wait, you big bully.
Hitman, Joey, everyone can wait.
Joey bag of donuts.
They're not going anywhere.
We got Name That Media. Also Name That Yank. What an intro. Thanks, pal. Swift here goes. Kodai Senga, 3 earned runs through 3 innings, Joe. You can't pitch against the Marlins and Pirates all year. You want to answer your critic?
Through 4.
Okay. Medina, recent subscriber. Medina's been a long-time supporter of a lot of the spaces and streams around the Yankees community. So shout out to Medina coming through. Yeah, Medina, my Team Pete teammate. So I got a shout out to my guy Medina, new sub to the channel. Christy Evis goes, Rich, the NBA fan. No, just this time of year. Like I am as casual gets. I am enjoying Knicks basketball though. And then we have Hitman in the building. What's going on? Hitman and CK over at Yankees Pond and Pinstripes and Sensor goes, talk that talk, Tom. And he is certainly talking that talk. But hell of a weekend. We got a lot of show to get to. We have Corey Favs is on his way. But before we get into what's on the lineup for tonight's show, Thomas, let's talk about Roback.
Let's talk about Roback as we head into the summer. The Roback American Summer Collection is live. We got Joe repping. See, the good thing about Roback is they have so many different options. Right? I got this. There's a lot going on in this polo here. There's all these different colors. It's one of the American collection. Joe went solid blue, which is also a really good look. The American Summer Collection has a ton of obviously red, white, and blue things from stars to print patterns. They got one with the U.S. Like the outline of the country on it. You got some new bathing suits that have a built-in liner. That's not like that liner that we all grow up with that just kind of like chapped your ass, like not as chapped as Joe's ass is right now, but like a really nice liner that you could have it on all day and you're not gonna be left with that feeling. Of course, quarter zips, polos, shorts as well. Head over to Roback.com. Use promo code TWASPL15. Get yourself 15% off your order. And yeah, load up on an American Summer collection. They're saying it's the summer of America. This is the biggest American summer of all time. Was what I'm hearing out there. Bob Clappish said it, so I believe him. Head over to Roback, promo code TWASPL15.
I got to get more on the Clappish story because we may have to consider him towards the tier list when we get back to the offseason and talk about beat reporters. Because you know my contention with bad reporting. All righty, let's get into it. The Roback rundown brought
people
to you
just
by
see reports
Roback.
that they don't like and they say it's fake. And you know what? Sometimes the truth hurts, and people gotta get over that. Not all news is fake. It's got to
be a credible source, Tom.
It's gonna be a long show.
We have established that Bob Clappish is not a credible source.
No, we have not. He's a reporter.
He said the Yankees wouldn't go a dime over $500 million.
That was also that was the story at the time. Stories change, man. I don't know what to tell you. Just because it hurts your little baby feelings does not mean it's not true.
He's in a backwards
miserable.
He's in
Corey's missing.
Star Ledger.
Joe is.
You know how many people read the Newark Star Ledger? That's the free newspaper they throw on your driveway.
Tonight's show brought to you by Roback. As always, save 15% on your next order. At Roback using the code TWASPL15. We got the Empire Express ticket.
By the way, we're for NJ.com. So
with our Subway Series matchup, we have a check-in. Jesus Christ, Tom, can I get through the intro?
No, you can't.
Well, I'm going to get through it. ESB Fantasy Baseball. We do a check-in on our league, see what's going on over there. We have the New York Strike Exchange with our newest element, Joseph. known as the trading floor that really makes its impact tonight. It's gonna be a lot of fun. And then we got Trick of the Trade to end things off. All right. Let's everybody put everybody back in their corners here. Actually, I'm gonna put myself in the middle because I feel like the referee right now, surprisingly. But let's talk about the Empire Express and get more on the Mets side of things. And obviously, this is gonna be a combined deal when we cover the Mets and Yankees because we just had this matchup over the weekend. So Joe, coming out of the weekend, looking at the past 6 games, and when we pull this up here, last 14 games, the Mets are at a .500 winning percentage, 7-7 in their last 14. Still, you look towards the National League stats, the 2.86 ERA still tops in the league. They're still at first place, just a half a game over the Philadelphia Phillies. So just assessing your team as it is right now, what's your feeling right now?
Yeah, listen, I mean, the Mets are still in a good spot. They're still one of the best teams in baseball. The Phillies aren't going anywhere. The Braves are now over 500. They're not going anywhere. So the Mets are in for a dogfight the rest of the year. The problems that arose in this series are the problems that have been festering. And a couple of them, in summary, are not hitting with runners in scoring position, which is a very fickle thing in Major League Baseball. We see teams go through waves where they hit very well in runners in scoring position. They don't hit well in runners in scoring position. The Mets haven't hit well. They've let a village on the base pass consistently most of this season. But I'm not going to say like the Mets are on some downswing. They won 2 out of 3 from Arizona, and they won 2 out of 3 from the Pirates, like including a beating Paul Skeens. Not beating the Pirates is that impressive, but it's not like they've been playing bad baseball. They had a rough end to the series yesterday. So the runners in scoring position showed its warts. The infield defense showed its warts. Vientos shouldn't be at third base. He should be the DH. I'm sick of seeing Starlin Marte.
I'm going to have him DH when Soto should be DHing.
Oh, my God. With this one DHing. Right now, I got to worry about my corner infielders throwing the goddamn ball. That's what I got to worry about. And Pete pulled out his Lucas Duda impression. Pete gets the yips throwing the bases. We know this. Okay. This is not, and Lindor had another error. Lindor's had 7 errors so far this year. Lindor's going to improve. I'm not worried about him. I am worried about third base.
Doesn't get nominated for Gold Gloves.
And at the end of the day, Pete at first base it's just going to be part of his game, unfortunately. Third base you can fix because Brett Beatty can play third base and Vientos can go to DH because right now our DH is Starlin Marte, and that's not good enough. I want Vientos at DH. I want Beatty at third base for the foreseeable future, and then we'll go from there. That's how you fix that. The things that are plaguing the Mets right now are fixable, right? Hitting with runners in scoring position, that's going to solve itself. It goes up and down. We all know that. The infield defense is mostly fixable.
And then the team morale,
shaky in the back of the bullpen is going to come and go as well. But at the end of the day, defense cost them that game yesterday, and not hitting with runners in scoring position. Once the rest of the Mets are fine, the offense is going to be fine. We still got Alonso, Lindor, and despite what everybody thinks about Soto's still hovering around a 380 on base percentage. Great players don't have 380 on base percentages. That's still a great mark. So am I concerned a little bit that Soto's off to a slow start? A little bit. But I'm not worried that this guy is going to drop off a cliff or anything like that. Soto at his worst day is still better than most major league outfielders. So
defensively,
Tom, honestly, he actually looked better defensively this past week than he did offensively.
I don't like him.
Did you see the ball? Did you see the ball that the ground roll double Judge hit? I mean, it looked like he was limping out there with how slow.
No, he was playing the carom and then hopped over the wall. I mean, that's what he was doing. So at the end of the day, first of all, I don't pay Soto for defense. I pay for offense. At the end of the day, I'm not that worried right now. All right. Soto is clearly uncomfortable in the box. I will be the first to fully admit that. He does not look comfortable in the box. I don't know what it is. Is it his swing? He's caught in between, whatever it is. The Soto shuffle's not there. All that stuff, all the stuff that we're worried about, I think gets to him not being comfortable at the plate in the dish at the moment.
I'm going to call time. I'm going to call time real quick because, Joe, there's a reason why we went to the screen of 4 because your tag team partner has arrived. Corey Favs in the building, folks. What's going on, Corey?
Corey, how's the mask doing? Corey.
Oh, no.
Everything is just miserable. The Mets suck.
Corey, how's the mast? How are the repairs going?
The battery died on me twice. I finished the lawn usually an hour and 20 minutes, 2.5 hours.
Well,
Corey's having late and technical issues.
Corey's having some technical difficulties right now, so we'll get Corey back into the mix shortly. It looks like his feed looked pretty good, so we're gonna try him one more time. Corey, let's try this again. No, we didn't get him. We didn't get him.
That face says it all.
Oh,
yeah.
There we go.
There we go.
Signs of life.
You're good.
I'm so out. I don't know who's more out of it more, myself or third place team this time next month.
Oh.
Wow. He's calling for a third place team this time next month.
Wow.
If the Mets offense can
Corey, we're gonna have to drop you down.
Absolutely red.
Nah, we don't got him. All right, so we're gonna. I hate to do this to such a great guy, but Corey's feed is very laggy right now. So we're gonna try him again in just a short order. Or maybe we'll just try a different device. I don't know what's going on over there. But all right. Anyway, Joe, back to it. With this team. Actually, wait, hold on a second. We got a bunch of comments. I gotta get through a bunch of these here real quick before we move on. Corey, well, he's not missing, but he's just having some technical difficulties. Joe is going to fight for his life. Joe, listen, this is Joe's bread and butter. Joe's gonna be fine. Joe, you're fine, right? You're good. You're okay.
I'm looking around. This is as good a hill to die on as any.
All right. Well, there you go. Nasila Molina. Shout out to Nasila Molina here. Finally got to the stream on time. How about these Yankees? Yeah, Yankees are playing great ball here. Harrison goes, Mets would run New York this year if Soto would play with care. He got his money and doesn't care. And I'm a Mets fan. Sorry, Rich. I'm gonna cut you off. One of the most ludicrous statements I have ever heard in my life, that the Mets would run New York this year. The Mets would have to go on a historic run to overtake the Yankees. I'm talking about like Big Red Machine type, winning 4 straight World Series to take the city from the Yankees. It's not happening. There is no shot of
late September last year, the Mets were the hotter story than the Yankees were. They were getting far more attention last year than the Yankees were, for the most part, especially late in the year.
That's not Alonzo comment here. Pars, my infielders, like Joe owns the Mets. Sierra goes, you really can't hate Pete too much when he's carrying the Mets offensively. You know, it's funny because even though it was a quiet weekend for Pete, he was tagging the ball. Like the Sunday ball he hit in the first inning, that ball looked like it was out. That wind pushed it back like another 10 feet in.
How many balls hit 110 miles an hour with a 45-degree launch angle don't leave the yard? I'd like to see the statistics on that, because that ball is out in any ballpark in any day.
I thought the Yankees playing a Little League park, though. I mean, that should have been.
Goes, don't show Joe my tweet.
I don't know what that means, Future. I can't.
I don't know.
I know what Future is talking about. It is Soto hitting a home run last April, and he looks so excited, or May, whatever it is, and he's excited. He's celebrating with Judge, and he looks like he has life. And we got this.
So it's funny, after everything that's happened this past weekend, like I'm like the biggest Mets fan tonight because I need to take out Boston over the next 3 days, and Tom feels the same way. Jason, this is a new viewer here. Jason Custodio goes, Corey has 56K modem. Let's find out if he still has 56K modem. Corey Favs, that's a lot better.
Unbelievable.
Oh boy, Corey.
Well, you look great.
It still sounds good.
No, you sound great. You look great. You look happy.
Corey Favs, how about this? Let's give you the floor. Uninterrupted. Tom, uninterrupted. Joe, Corey, you have the floor. 2 minutes. Go at it. What do you got on the Mets?
If the Mets continue this dog shit style of play, they will be a third place team this time next month. And the problem is, am I good, first of all?
Yes, you are.
It'll be better.
All right.
You're perfect. You're perfect.
The problem is, for the first 6 weeks of the season, the Mets had phenomenal pitching playing above its pay grade and starting to slowly come back to earth. You could see AKA Tyler McGill, the clear evidence of that. That's coming back down to earth. But the Mets offense was also being carried by two players, Francisco Lindor, who was absolutely red hot, and Pete Alonso, who was even hotter. What's happened over the last 2 weeks? Lindar's still doing okay. He's not playing at that absurdly high clip that he was. Alonso is ice cold. He really cooled off, and he's not going to maintain that stretch he was on. It's not possible. The problem is the pieces around them are not doing any better. It's not like they're struggling, but the rest of the team is picking it up. Soto's doing all right. He's drawing his walks. He's not playing like $100 million player, let alone a $700 million player. Brandon Nimmo, he's getting some hits here and there, but he's not the Brandon Nimmo we know of from 3 years ago who earned that big contract. Francisco Alvarez, his power's gone. I don't know what happened to him. I might hit more home runs than Alvarez over a 100-game stretch down the stretch here now. McNeil is not playing up to what McNeil used to be. And Acuna cooled off significantly. I still love Acuna. He gives you a lot of great elements with the glove and the speed. He still has value. He cooled off. Tyrone Taylor, all right, he had a big hit today, but center field's a problem. You're not getting a lot of production out of center field. So if the offense is going to continue playing at this dog shit level and the pitching starts coming down to earth, you can still win some games. Don't get me wrong, because you're still going to get some good pitching nights and just enough offense. But this Mets team, thank God they got off to as hot of a stretch as they could, because these last 3 weeks have been rough. Absolutely rough. They are very fortunate to have put up that big a buffer to start the year and put some ground on the division, because the division's about to be gone. I mean, you see, that's a half game. That division might be gone today or tomorrow. And then I don't know. We'll see what happens. The offense has to wake up. I want to see 3, 4, 5 days in a row hitting with runners in scoring position. The Mets cannot hit with the guy in scoring position to save their life right now. You finally get a situation. You're down 3-0. You make it 3-1. Great. 2 on, 1 out. Your $700 million player hits a double play to end the inning. And I don't even know what the score is right now. It's probably still 3-1. There's probably 10-1 at this juncture.
But Corey, I got to stop you here. We just took, if you go back the last 3 series, we took 2 out of 3 in Arizona.
And we got lucky. The offense is so bad. The Rockies probably have better running and scoring position average than the Mets.
Corey, we took 2 out of 3 from Chicago, who's in first place. We scored 7, 5, and 6.
We should have swept the series.
All right, we won 2 out of 3 against Pittsburgh in a rainy, disgusting weather week.
Pittsburgh is dog shit.
I understand that, Corey, but you're acting like this team didn't just win 6 of 9.
No,
Corey, you're overreacting. Your memory is short, dude. Now you lose 2 out of 3 to the Yankees.
I have history with this team. We are about to be in the June swoon, baby. It's over.
Corey.
Get me a center fielder. Get me a third baseman who's not Mark Vientos. We need
that third base. We need that third baseman.
Corey, there's a couple of issues. I said this. The third base defense is an issue. That's fixed by putting Brett Beatty there and having Vientos DH. That's fixed. We're not fixing Pete throwing the bases. We've been trying to fix that forever. It's not going to change. Pete is going to airmail some throws. All right, hit with runners in scoring position, but go look at the last couple weeks. Go look at the last couple weeks, and all of a sudden we have a short memory because we lose 2 out of 3 to the Yankees. Oh, come on, guys. What are we doing here?
Losing, apparently.
2 playoff teams in the NL, and we beat them. And now all of a sudden we're going nuts, guys. Come on.
We're in the
place.
The
second best record in all of baseball.
The team morale is low.
Everybody's got to chill. It's not even Memorial Day.
I know we haven't hit the checkpoint. We haven't hit the checkpoint yet. The checkpoint's next week, Corey. Save some of the steak.
Everyone has to chill as Joe is redder than a tomato.
Come on, Soto's got 390 on base percentage.
You know what's funny?
I see freaking out because he's not hitting 15 bombs. Yeah,
so my buddy,
check how many home runs Bryce Harper has. It's less than Juan Soto.
At least Bryce Harper seems happy.
So
he loves Philadelphia.
My guy,
let me ask you something. What was it more demoralizing loss, losing 2 out of 3 of the Yankees, or the Phillies getting their asses, wiping their asses with Philadelphia's face? Come on, guys.
Bryce Harper is much happier.
Tiebreaker against Philly. We're freaking the frick out.
Bryce Harper's a lot happier as a Philly than Juan Soto is as a Met.
3 games in a row all year.
Oh my God! Yeah, there's a few folks who are in here who have
needs to chill.
Hi to Corey. Corey, by the way, 100 folks in here. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm dying over here. I had to take myself off camera for a little bit. I may have to take myself off again. Cameron Bella goes early onset Fleming, which is so not Corey Favs, by the way. For those who Corey's usually the calm, sensible one. He's not the one that gets to this. I haven't seen Corey Favs like this. It's a mid 2023 episode of the Mets Minute. So this is something else. But shout out to the room. We have a bunch of people here. Sean Browning played at Sinatra. Cam again. Alan Cash should throw the Mets a bone and trade for Soto. Maybe he'd be happier. My guy, Mr. Ra Thompson, is in the building. He goes, he airmailed another one just now.
Yeah, I know. Thank you.
Rob, by the way, congratulations to Rob. Rob's getting married at the end of the week. He's having a great time in the DR, so shout out to him. And Sierra's extra innings will be spicy tonight, friends. It's gonna be massive.
Before we move on to the Yankee side, here's my real honest concern with Juan Soto. Here's my comparison. Juan Soto to me is he's like an elite wide receiver in the NFL. When he's getting the ball and the team is winning, he is happy. He couldn't be happier. He's celebrating with his teammates. He's a team guy. When things start going bad, he becomes so Joe, shut your mouth. He becomes so pouty and so miserable. And the Mets are a good team. So the Mets could start winning and he could come back. You just said, I'm thinking did he just do something?
He
hit a signal. Okay.
Took away
anyway, that's who Juan Soto is. He was happy all of last year as a Yankee because the Yankees were good all year. But when San Diego wasn't good all the time and when Washington wasn't good, he became mopey. The Mets better be good because if they aren't good, he is going to mope worse than Randy Moss, worse than Terrell Owens, worse than Devonta Adams. That is what he's going to be. That's who he is. Look everywhere he's been. When the team isn't good, he gets mopey and he doesn't try. And that's why. And then he
just stole a base. So what are we talking about? Not try. By the way, he's got like 4 stolen bases in the last 4 games. That's not a guy that's not trying.
We have a lot of show. Let's get to the Yankees real quick. And then I have a question just to kind of encompass this past weekend a little bit. It's a positive question, but let's get real quick to the Yankee side of the house here, Thomas. So, again, coming off a great weekend, but the way I've been seeing it, push aside the fact that you played your crosstown rival. The Yankees in the last 4 series have played 4 good teams. Even the Athletics going into play were a plus 500 team and more towards the top of the AL West. I think the Yankees have more exposed the Athletics for what they are. But they played the Padres, the A's, the Mariners, the Mets. They won each of those series. And even the 4 games that they lost in that span, those games that were lost late, either, the Seattle Mariners extra inning game, the Yankees couldn't push across the run with the inherited runner at second base. The San Diego Padre game where Devin Williams kind of didn't set up the table well for Luke Weaver. That game went the way it did. The Yankees been playing good ball. That's overall arching thing here, Thomas. 27-19. Now 5 games above Boston. Again, we're actively rooting for the New York Mets. There's 4 people here rooting for the game tonight for the first time in a long time. So listen, let's go Mets. Let's go Soto. Let's beat the Red Sox. Let's keep
that morale up.
Divisional lead. But Thomas, your thoughts.
Turn that crown upside down, Juan.
Well, yeah. Well, Thomas, what do you got?
I said it at the beginning of the show, and I know Corey missed it. That's a really good team. Rich, you did a good job of recapping that. The Yankees have played a bunch of really good teams in a row, and they've been consistently winning series, which is what anyone ever wants their team to do, is to win consistently, win series. It was a fun weekend. The offense kind of came alive at times. There were some moments, especially the game that we lost, that I think down the stretch that's a game.
I was there live for that one. Thanks guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean it's a game that the Yankees they lose that game in May. That situation, if that comes up later in the year, you're going to probably have a different. If that game really mattered, you'd have different players in at the time to try to lock that down, and their team's going to get better because I think they're going to make some moves. So I'm not too worried about that. Again, that's a good team. Love seeing what Cody Bellinger has been doing, not just offensively, and we're going to get into that later, but defensively. That relay he started to get, I forget who that was at the plate last night. That was a great play by him to Volpe, to Wells to get the tag. He's really come on. He looks comfortable. He looks happy. And I love to see it. All the guys, the big tweet of all the Yankee fans kind of put out there on Twitter today is all the guys that we signed because we didn't sign Soto. They came through this series. Bellinger, Goldschmidt, Fried. And people laughed when they said this team could be better, the argument was always there could be more well-rounded. And I think that's what the Yankees have been. They've been more well-rounded. They've been better defensively. It stinks we lost Cole. If we would have had Cole still, our pitching staff would be even better. Can't do anything about it now. I feel good. It's still early in the year. It's a long season. We all know that. But I feel good right now. And I know we have Boston coming up next weekend. So that's going to be right. Is it next weekend?
Finally, yeah, it's coming. I think it's actually more in June.
Is it June?
I don't think so. Well, this week coming up at least. I'll pull that one up there. The Yankees started. Texas starting tomorrow at 7:05, and then they get the Rockies. Weird little travel there. They go from Yankee Stadium to Coors Field within a day. But that explains the 12:35 start time on Thursday. So
get DeGrom on Wednesday.
Interesting.
DeGrom versus Yarborough. That's going to be whoa.
Interesting.
And DeGrom looks like his old self. I gotta say,
he's looking good.
8 innings, no runs.
It'd be nice if he stays healthy. I'm very curious to see the final numbers for him this year because it's nice to see him.
I don't know why he just
there he is.
Sorry, guys. That's my apologies. And here's the thing. So I'm seeing this in the chat. Hey, Devin Williams. Don't forget Devin Williams. Devin Williams has been great ever since taking out of the role. Again, he had the one hiccup against the Padres that led to that loss, but he's been great. One of the overarching stories was the Devin Williams Pete Alonso rematch. He faced him twice, and Devin got the best of Pete this time around. Still, listen, the Pete home run against Devin is always going to live in infamy because of what it meant. But it was good to see Devin get a little bit of a measure of revenge there.
Loaizaga looked good too, coming back.
Yeah,
I know he gave up a couple hits, but he still looked good for his first outing, and that would be a huge addition to the bullpen.
100%. And if you get 3/4 of Jonathan Loaizaga that the Yankees saw back in 2021, where I could make the argument he was probably the best non-closer in the game of baseball at the time. I mean, you got yourself a weapon in the back end of the bullpen. In a bullpen where Thomas, it's more about finesse. It's the Mark Leiters, the Devin Williams, the Luke Weavers that are sinking, breaking balls in the dirt. Having that one pitcher that's throwing 98, 99, 100 is big time for that bullpen. So they definitely could use that out of Jonathan Loaizaga.
Yeah, I think it's a good point. Also, just the variety of what you get out of that bullpen. Like Weaver kind of gives you a little bit of everything you said. With Williams with the changeup, Cruz with the splitter. Loaizaga kind of with the two-seamer and the sinker. Everyone kind of has their own thing. I think for a long time, the Yankees just kept running this. They basically just had 5 of the same guys in the bullpen. I think what the Yankees bullpen is now, with how eclectic it is, it does make it hard to match up against because you have to really do a lot of preparation. Because getting ready for Mark Leiter Jr. at bat is very different than Jonathan Loaizaga at bat. And that wasn't the case, I would say, a couple years ago.
I want to ask this question to end the Empire Express. Oh, again, question for the whole crowd here. And a positive. I want the answer. I want positive answers. No shit talking on the other side. When watching the series, which preconceptions of your opponent, so for Joe and Corey of the Yankees, for Tom and I for the Mets, which preconception did you have of your opponent that you were kind of wrong about after the series was over and done with? Anything that changed your opinion about a certain player that you might have had a preconception going into Friday? I don't know if he wants to kick that off. That was kind of like a last minute question I threw in there.
I'll tell you what. I don't. Oh, go ahead.
I'll say that probably Goldschmidt's got more baseball in him than I thought left in him. I
was basically going to say the same thing.
Yeah,
except for DJ LeMahieu.
And I think it's going to be most telling when you get to the summer and he's a mid-30s player heading into the back. But I really thought coming into this, the Yankees were just going to have a player who was, going to hit 265 and, hit 20 home runs and kind of just be a completely average hitter. Goldschmidt still looks like he is a premier, even if the power is not there, is a premier approach and quality of a bat every single time. And I think that makes a big difference getting that at a first base than what they've normally gotten.
Corey. Yeah, a similar wavelength as Joe with the different player and DJ LeMahieu, because I'll be honest, I didn't even know when DJ was going to come back, what he was going to give you. And again, it's a very, very small sample size. Was he have like 13 at bats or something like that? But he's actually hitting the ball. And, he hit a home run. Granted, just made it over the fence there, but still counts as a home run. So if DJ LeMahieu gives you 250 down the stretch, that's a major win. So
I gotta
DJ
say,
LeMahieu, welcome back.
I was sitting there watching DJ LeMahieu make those plays at second base and at that home run, and I was like, we are really getting beat by a freaking corpse right now. I mean, that's literally what I was saying. I was like, all right, whatever's in my drink isn't strong enough because we're getting beat by a freaking corpse.
I'll say for me, your Edwin Diaz still has it. Edwin Diaz has been showcasing over the last few weeks. I thought it was a really slow start for Diaz. It's not really been the case. He looked like the Edwin Diaz that I remember from a few years back in the Saturday game, seeing that in person. But just over his last few weeks, even up at like I'm looking at numbers. He's got a .73 ERA over his last 12 games. Yeah. So this is the Edwin Diaz that we've known and loved here. Yeah. At least for the Mets closers role. Tom, how about you?
I think the Mets, you look at the numbers to back it up. Their starting pitching has been really good. We'll see if that can continue. But they're getting really good contributions from guys that your David Petersons of the world who. No one's expecting to be great. They guys like they feel like they have a rotation that profiles as 3 and 4 starters who are all pitching above that. And you need guys to step up if you're gonna it's a long season. You need those guys to step up, and they have stepped up so far.
Chris here says, Corey, say that DJ LeMahieu statement again. No one heard you. This has been one of DJ LeMahieu's biggest supporters over the last.
Pete threw to first base and did an air mallet. Let's go.
But I want to hear something better than that. I want to hear you get a 3-run jack, Yeah. Sierra here goes.
I'm going to be sick because anybody who was on Spaces earlier today knows Senga's about to go 6 innings and give up 3.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. It's beautiful. Love that quality start there, Joe. Sierra goes, I thought coming into this, Soto was going to break out and completely kill us. Happy to report that he was a generational walker in game 1 and not too scary in the series. Jack here goes, Acuna, I would love to see him start the game because if the game is close, as a weapon stealing a base late in the game, as soon as the Yankees walk the back, I'm having a hard time bringing this up. Wake the backup catcher. I knew we were in trouble. So in reference to Acuna, and we're going to have more on Luis Angel Acuna in just a few short minutes. But before we get to our next segment, which is just a rundown of the Fantasy League real quick, let's talk about Instagram, Corey Favs.
Yeah, go ahead and follow us on Instagram. And now we're at 7,100 followers and growing. At Empire State of Baseball, you'll find all our meme reels, archive segments, graphics from the show, you name it, you'll find on Instagram at Empire State of Baseball. And follow all of us individually. Myself at Corey Favs, Joe at JR Pugs, Rich at Rich J. Rivera, and Tom at T. Wospil.
Yes, sir. Guys, I had to take myself off camera. I was absolutely crying during that whole Corey Joe exchange, just because we've never, I think 124 episodes. I've never seen a Corey Joe anti-rant to each other. So it caught me off that Corey for once played like the Joe role and Joe played the Corey role. It was just funny to watch that in person. I loved it. All right, let's talk about our fantasy leagues real quick. And I mean real quick. So when it comes to this league, which follows a roto, this is our Empire State of Baseball Fantasy Baseball League. Chooch has overcome Core for the first place in the league, which I didn't think was even possible, Corey Favs. The Chooch is number one.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, Core had 100 plus for like the first 6 weeks or so, and all of a sudden Chooch did overtake them, and now both of them under 100 points. And you're starting to see, Tom's right up there at 3, I'm there at 4, Sierra 5. Again, anything could happen here. It's still a very long season. The problem with Roto is the further you get, the harder it gets. But ironically, these numbers have been shifting a bit at the top lately. So it goes to show all it takes is a few good weeks and anything could happen. Just stick with it.
I remember being 1 and now I'm all the way down to 8. So it was, it's been a tough fall since. But I got a question for the room here. And then we're going to quickly move on to the New York Strike Exchange. As far as your teams go, which MLB rookie has been an impact player towards your fantasy team? Tom, why don't we start with you?
I have no idea.
No rookies. Okay, I
don't know. Let me look. Let's see who I have on my team. Who's a rookie?
The only rookie I have is Jackson Jobe, and he hasn't been that impressive yet. So I don't think I have another rookie on the team, to be honest with you.
Is James Wood still considered a rookie? Because he's been very nice. No, he's close to a rookie though.
He's a sophomore, but yeah. James Wood's been great. James Wood's been a great contributor to the Nationals for me. I got Josh Wilson from the A's. One of the bright spots of the Athletics this year. Wilson hitting 337. He's got 5 homers, 26 ribeyes. He is currently the 9th positional ranked at the shortstop position overall. Corey?
Yeah, I got to say, again, Roto stats are important, and you see I'm 8 points out of a possible 10 stolen bases, and I give that shout-out for 2 rookies, Mr. Chandler Simpson and Luis Angel Acuna. 2 young speedsters, giving them the spot starts here and there, and you get me a couple skills each week.
You're rostering Luis Angel Acuna?
He was more so because he got on second base.
Yikes.
He had a very hot. He cooled off now. I could probably drop him now, but he had a very good about 2-3 week stretch earlier in the month.
Okay,
Tom, not one rookie. I'm like looking. I'm trying.
I got a bunch of sophomores. I got Langford. I got James Wood. I got Mason Miller.
You don't have a rookie. AJ Smith-Shawver. I think he's a rookie. There you go. You got one.
I don't think he is.
I think he is.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he is. But all right. All right, MLB rookies. But yeah, good stuff to Chooch for getting on top of the league here. It's been fun doing the Roto stuff, but I'm telling you, I still don't know what the hell I'm doing, but I'm making it happen. All righty, from that, let's talk about YouTube, and we're gonna go to Joe to cover what's happening over at the Tube.
We are live on Instagram and X, but YouTube is our preferred platform. Why? Because we can interact with you guys live on the show, and you guys can be part of the show. So go over to YouTube, go to Empire State of Baseball, hit up the page, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Make sure you are subscribed because that's important. We have 465 subscribers and counting. And once we get to 500, we are going to give a giveaway. We're going to have a giveaway. So make sure you're a part of that. Make sure you send it to your friends and family, anybody who likes baseball, and help us out get to 500. And then we'll do a giveaway for the rest of the for all of our fans.
We had a nice jump in numbers over the last week, so hopefully we're back into the right direction there. Now that some of the other sports seasons are finally coming to an end. Chris Dievis, are we about to see Cody Bullinger? We're going to find out. It's now time for the New York Strike Exchange. And with our first set of lists, Corey Favs, let's reveal the Bears for this week.
Oh man, there's a lot to talk about on the Bears side. But we're going to actually go to the Bronx to start off. Number 5, Fernando Cruz. Fernando Cruz had a really great start to the season out of the bullpen. We're going to read a couple of weeks here. Across 5 innings, blew a save, 1-2 record, 7.20 ERA. So not the best 2-week stretch for Cruz. We'll see if he'll turn it around. At the 4th spot, Anthony Volpe, 14 Ks. That's a lot of Ks over a 2-week period. 14, 239, not the worst. I mean, a lot of Bulls tend to have a lower average, but 14 Ks is a lot of Ks to see over a 2-week period. So Volpe makes the list of 4. Luis Ancona, we just mentioned him, brings a lot of excitement on the base pass and in the field. But his bat has cooled off in the last 2 weeks. He was hitting like 300 over a 3-week stretch prior, but only 143 in the last 2-week period. Oswald Peraza, 0.95 average, 7. Not a good few weeks for Peraza, that's for sure. More to come on that. And Tyler McGill, number 1. The McGill magic is over, man. Tyler is no more. 0-2 over 7 1/3 innings, 9.82 ERA. That's the McGill makeup here, man. He gets a good 6 weeks of the season. Even last year, he had like a 2-something ERA through April, and then once May comes along, he starts to vanish. The thing with McGill, he was never meant to be a top 3 starter. He is a depth pitcher who happened to be performing well above the means. He well deserved top Bear spot for this 2-week period.
Yeah, Sierra, we're not cruel. We did not include Oswaldo Cabrera on the Bears list. It was Oswald Peraza. She read it wrong.
Let's give Cabrera a break.
Yeah, that would be savage. Oh well, that's come on, Joe. You're better than that. Give him a break.
I'm just being honest.
That's rough. That's rough. All right, real quick, because we do have to get to the trading floor, and I want to get through that quickly. Joe, of this list here, what are your thoughts?
Listen, Tyler 3-2 McGill is what I call him. He's going to be out of the rotation when Manaea comes back. There's no question. But listen, I think Acuna had a good start to the season. But Acuna at this point is not ready to be a full-time offensive player, I think, in Major League Baseball. He's going to be a role player for this team. He does serve a purpose. His speed adds another dimension to his game. He is a good fielder. But at the end of the day, that has to come off the bench. That does not have to start every day. He can still serve this team in a very solid role. It's just not going to be an everyday position at this point.
Yeah, I mean, Anthony Volpe is getting closer and closer to that number 1 Bear spot yet again. It's just been bad, and I think it was case in point in the Sunday game. His at bat against Huascar Brazibarn. That was my best attempt at his name. When it came down to that bat, this is a young player who's struggling. 3-0 count, bases loaded. You're taking 2 pitches straight.
Yep.
You're taking 2 pitches straight. And he swung at the second pitch and the third pitch, which was inside, and the fourth pitch, which was inside, and struck out. So I don't know how you change this kid's plate discipline. But I'm just subscribed to the belief that he's just not that good.
That's a borderline benchable at bat.
Yeah.
Like if you get to a benchable at bat, being 3-0 and swinging at 3 pitches out of the strike zone and not out by a little bit, out by a decent margin, that's a borderline bit. Like the manager and the hitting coach are going to look at that at bat back, and they're going to have a word with Volpe on that.
Right.
Like that's level of.
I've said this.
Probably not.
When it comes to him and his position, like if he's a 230 hitter who's a defensive first shortstop, that's fine. You can't bat 5th in the lineup. You can't bat anywhere above the 7th spot in the batting order.
Correct.
That's the problem. They've set this kid up to fail, and he's going to get scrutinized because the expectation's too high. If you bat him 7th, 8th, 9th, and he's doing what he's doing with the bat, you're taking that from your 7th, 8th, and 9th hitter, which is where you're going to see that production anyway. Tom, let's get to the bullets. Let's get to some good here. What do we got? Let's take a look.
Yeah, we are going to start. Who's 5? Run that back. Braziban.
Huascar Brazibarn.
Yeah, that was a good. Yeah, Braziban. Looked good last night. 2 holds, 8 innings, no earned runs. Can't really ask much more out of him. Number 4, Max Fried. Again, speaking of, can't ask a whole lot more out of him. 18 innings over this last stretch. Only 4 earned runs, 21 strikeouts, which is, I feel like, pretty high for him. He's not usually a huge strikeout guy, low batting average against, which is great to see. Kodai Senga, above him, disagree with that. I understand he didn't give up a run, but he also pitched, 6 less innings, but whatever, a lot less strikeouts, whatever. He had a good run there as well. Aaron Judge unseated from the top of the Bulls list. Aaron Judge with a pedestrian 340 with a 1.1 OPS and 4 homers. Yawn.
Sucks.
Yeah, he does suck. But Cody Bellinger, 400 over this stretch. About a similar OPS as Judge, but a little bit more on the home runs. He's, again, playing really great defensively. Hit the huge grand slam last night just to really, drive the stake in the Mets' heart. And he's heating up, and he's looking really good.
Get the name Bulls. Fucking right. It's Cody Bellinger. Cody Bellinger, which is what I've been saying for the last 2 weeks. I wish that I would have invested in the guy. More on that in a little bit. But Cody Bellinger has been incredible. 400 batting average, 1.159 OPS. This version of Cody Bellinger, Tom, that we've been seeing, forget out the last weeks, maybe the last month. That's the Cody Bellinger that most baseball fans are accustomed to.
Yeah, and he was bad for the first 2 weeks of the season, and he's been really good since, and he's been really hot as of late. But Cody Bellinger is a really good ball player, and I know a lot of Yankee fans were kind of split. It was polarized in the offseason about acquiring him, and I think he's really proving people wrong, and he's becoming a big time threat in the lineup. Again, also defensively too. I can't sleep on what he's doing defensively in the outfield on top of his offense.
100%. So that's our Bulls list right there. Corey, do you have a comment on some of the Mets on this list?
I mean, Braziban has been absolutely phenomenal in a depth role of the pen, and that depth role is turning into a more high leverage role. So give him credit. And even Kodai Senga, a game like tonight looked like it could have been a lost cause for him, and he still got a quality start. So, Senga turned nothing into quality. So again, quality start's a debatable stat, but you'll take it. He's been very good so far. I know they're babying him a little bit. Now they're going to go to the 6-man when Minai comes back. Be cautious, but when he has pitched, he's been very, very good.
All right. Joe, I don't know, Joe, you want to get a comment in there? Or
no, I'm pretty much in agreement. I mean, Senga's been fantastic. He had a rough first inning today. He's bounced back and made it and kept his team in the game. So he was the best pitcher over the last 15 days.
So that's our Bears and Bulls, and like we've said over the last couple of weeks, we've added a new element to our segment here. It's called the trading floor. So with that said, Joseph, let's talk about the rules first. For those who missed last week, just give them a rundown on the rules, and then we'll get into the investors.
Yeah. So we are introducing a new segment called the trading floor. We did a little bit of this last week. So what happens when a player makes the Bulls or Bears list? Their stock is going to go up and down. Our job in this game here is to basically play the stock market with New York players, right? So we will each invest in 3 players that we will believe can make the top 5 Bulls. Our objective is to make money off of this. ESB bucks. Each host to start the year with 150 ESB bucks. Each player invested will gain either by being on the Bulls list, lose value by being on the Bears list, or maintain their value based on the position in the rankings. All players start at 50 subs or 50 ESB bucks, right? So Juan Soto costs $50. Juan Soto makes the Bulls list at number 1. His stock goes up 50%. So it'll be 75. The host can hold that or sell it and cash in. Same thing with the Bears. If the host invests in Juan Soto, who costs 50, Soto makes the Bears list at number 1, is now worth 50% less at 25. The host can continue to hold that, or they can sell it and take their loss. Same thing with the unranked. If the unranked does not appear on any list, there's no value change, and so on and so forth. So
okay, so with that said, let's get into the trading floor. All right, let's ring that opening bell and get this thing going. And we're going to start things off. We're going to start things off with our first investor, Corey Favs. So Corey Favs, last week or 2 weeks ago, whenever the hell we did this last, and I know the sound's still going off. you invested in these three players. You had Juan Soto, which was a good investment because he was not on the Bulls list. He was not on the Bears list. Ryan Stanek, however, was on the Bears list from 2 weeks ago. So there was a slightly less deduction to take him out because he was the number one Bear. And then you also took on Luke Weaver. Well, none of these guys were on either list. So if you want to sell here, you can gain back, 50 ESB bucks on Soto and Weaver easily, but you're not going to net anything with Stanek because Stanek was a Bear. So if you're looking at this list, how are you going to invest towards the next Bulls list? Are you going to sell all this and repick three guys? How do you want to go about this?
I'm going to keep the Weaver and the Soto picks. I think Weaver being in a closer spot with a good team always gives him a chance to be a Bull. And Juan Soto, at this point, I'm already invested with him. I hope the next 2 weeks are better than the last two. Well, he was so close to breaking out, too, and it just didn't happen. The Ryan Stanek one's interesting. And again, we were still kind of debating the rules. So I was like, maybe I'll buy penny stocks in Stanek, make a couple of bucks. But again, the new format, not worth anything. So the Stanek one was just kind of a toss in the can, in the trash can, basically. So I will go ahead and probably.
Now, so Joe, just to understand, so Soto and Weaver are going to cost him 100. He's coming in at 100. So if he's selling all, he's at a 125, but he's not. So he's keeping Soto and Weaver. Mm-hmm. So he's down to 25 right now.
Yep. So you said Stanek is a loss. So you bought Stanek on the cheap. The Stanek would be a net zero if he sold Stanek right now. Because he bought him when he was already down. So he only spent 25. He could sell him for 25. He'll make his money back. Mm-hmm. But he can't ride the wave up. That's the theory by buying low.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you can invest in one of the newest Bears on the list. If we want to pull that list back up.
Yeah, pull the list back up. Let's take a quick look at. I want no part with any of the guys on this list, so that's the problem. So
not many guys on that list that you want a piece of.
Exactly. All right, you know what? Let's do this. Let's take out. Lindor did not make the Bull list this week. Mm-hmm. I'm going to swap out Stanek, get rid of him, and let's purchase Lindor.
Okay. Is that eligible buy there, Joe?
That's an eligible buy, but what was the price of Lindor? Lindor made the last Bull list, right? Didn't he? Mm-hmm. So Lindor will be a little bit more than the 50 base price.
Right.
So
okay.
So Lindor is going to be I got the numbers here. So Francisco Lindor is going to be 65. That's what he closed at last week. 65.
That's what he closed out last week. All right.
Francisco Lindor.
So maybe Ugh.
Well, remember, all he's got to do is make number 5, and he'll go up 10%.
Yeah. All right. Let's do it. Why not? Let's do it.
Okay.
Give it a shot.
So he is in on Lindor. We'll work up those calculations after the fact there. Okay. Joe, let's take a look at what you got here. Yep. So Joe, you went Soto Vientos again, same deal since they were unranked. You're getting your 50s back there. But you went on Williams. Williams did not crack any lists. You lost 40. So you sell all the stock, you're back at 110. How do you want to take care of this?
Yeah, I think I'm keeping Williams. I think I'm keeping Soto. One thing I don't like is Mark Vientos' defense. I think that's going to limit him a little bit going forward. I'm actually going to sell Vientos. I'm going to not make any profit. I'm going to reinvest it in the other New York closer, Edwin Diaz, who did not make the list, but I would say is on the up and up. So I think I'm going to reinvest my 50 into Edwin Diaz.
Okay, there you go. So you're holding on to Soto, holding out to Williams, selling Vientos for Edwin Diaz. So a 50 for 50. Got it. All right, very good. So then you're back. Then that takes you back down to 0 after it's all said and done.
Yep.
Okay, awesome. Tom, let's get to you. Let's see what you had here. Tom, you went Nimmo, Rice, and Soto. You went with all unranked guys. Well, they all remain unranked. How are you going to play this one going into the next list?
I am going to sell Nimmo. I'm going to sell Ben Bryce, and I'm going to pick up a share of Francisco Lindor, and I'll carry that balance over to next week. So I'll just roll with my Mets.
You're gonna roll with just 2 players.
Yeah, I'll roll with 2 players.
Lindor, Soto. Is that a legal move there, Joe, or do you need to have 3?
I mean, I thought we should do 3 each, but that's my opinion.
Okay, so then that leaves me with okay.
So you'll have 65 for Lindor.
Okay. So then I have 35 left.
You got plenty left, but aside from Aaron,
you have 85 after.
No,
yeah, you'll have 85 left
after just Lindor.
Yep.
No, I'm selling 2 guys, getting 100, buying Lindor at 65. Leaves me 35. I have 2 players and 35 ESB bucks.
No, we all start out with 200. You
started 200.
We started 150.
Started 150.
Oh, we started 150. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
All right. We'll roll with Lindor, and again, we'll figure out the details after the fact.
Right.
We'll
if I can just stick with those 2 guys, I'll stick with the 2 and carry my 35 ESB bucks over.
Okay.
Put it under the mattress.
And I'm going to keep this real simple with mine here. So I went Goldschmidt, Soto, Weaver. I'm going to stick with Soto. And I'm actually going to replace Goldschmidt with Clay Holmes. I think Clay Holmes has the goods to make the next list. He should, by starts, he should have 3 starts under his belt by the time we hit our next Bulls and Bears list. So I feel good about a Clay Holmes investment there. And I'm going to replace Luke Weaver with Jason Dominguez. I think Dominguez has really come into his own. He's getting more playing time. I think the Yankees are more trusting his middle of the order presence. And as long as he's facing right-handed pitching, I feel good. So I'm going to replace Goldschmidt and Weaver with Dominguez and Clay Holmes and keep Juan Soto. And that's how I'm going to invest towards the next trading floor. We'll get everything cleaned up. Again, folks, this is the first time we're rolling this out for this part of the segment. Once we kind of get all the details figured out, we're going to get this thing down smoothly. And Joe and I will work out the numbers after the fact. All righty. Before we get to our final segment, which is our game, which is the trick of the trade, let's talk about what the latest and greatest with X and what's going on in X. Well, everything. You give us a follow over at ESB Podcast. That's our main page. That's where, if you're watching the show right now on X, that's where you are right now. We really do appreciate it. I see there's 140 in the building, and a lot of them coming from X. So thank you guys so much for that. Also on X, we have subsidiary accounts that cover both the teams. We have a Yankees account that's covered by Tom and I, along with Sierra, Boogie, and Chris. More on them in just a little bit. And the Mets account, ESB NYM, which is covered by Corey and Joe exclusively. But yes, on the Yankees account, we have an everyday space known as a Bronx Take. And a lot of you who are in here are very familiar with the space that goes live most days at 1 o'clock, only 5 o'clock on Wednesdays, hosted by a rotation of 4 hosts, which includes my good friend Sierra, who you can follow at Sierra Not Miss, Chris at Chris Nieves 618, and Boogie at Boogie Dan NYY. That is Monday through Friday for that space called a Bronx Take. And then, of course, we have Extra Innings, which follows our live episode. So Extra Innings will be live in just a few minutes' time. So make sure to tune in for another edition of Extra Innings. Okay, let's get into our game. Tom, you have some ground to catch up. You're in dead last year in 4th. Joe, lead at 10, and I'm at 8. But Thomas, we have a trick of the trade, so let's get going with your trade first. What do you got?
We have the Yankees acquiring Kevin Brown from the Dodgers, trading a different Brazaban. And yes, that Brandon Whedon, former quarterback of the Cleveland Browns and first-round draft pick, and this player. I almost want to make Brandon Whedon the guy, but I thought that felt mean.
Yeah, that would be mean.
Brandon
Football.
Brandon Whedon.
Brazaban, that's funny as hell that there was another Brazaban. I wonder if they're related.
I know, right?
Brazaban-y.
All right, we got a 3K system, folks, here.
I will monitor the chat to see if we got a correct guess.
2003.
Okay.
Deona Navarro.
Incorrect.
Talking about that one.
He's later a little bit. They traded him to Arizona. I think they traded him to Arizona.
Right? I think it was Randy Johnson.
Maybe.
Or Javier Vasquez. I don't know. One of them.
03.
Trying to think of Dodgers of like the mid 2000s.
Would be a good way to think about it.
James Loney.
Not James Loney.
Andre Ethier.
not Andre Ito. That would have stunk. The Yankees did that.
Yeah.
What's his name? Chad Billingsley.
Not Chad Billingsley.
I think he might have been just drafted by the Dodgers.
I feel like it's a guy that you just don't think was a Yankee. Like, I'm trying to think of guys that are like random, like might not have
been
ever.
a prospect.
This is where Joe goes on Baseball Reference and looks it up and then says like, I don't think of this guy as a Yankee, and bang.
No.
Joe's MO. His eyes are down looking it up. I think he's a cheater in the world.
2003.
Swift, I love your guess. If he was in that trade, it would have been hilarious, but that's incorrect, Swift. I'm not
This
going to
is
say
after. So this was after they got.
So yeah,
They
chat.
got
You can
Tyler
guess. The guys aren't looking at the chat, so you can guess.
Who's on that 2003?
Except for Joe, who actually might look at the chat because he's a cheater. But
No, I have on private. I have on private chat.
Definitely some shit player.
It's probably somebody like crappy.
Yeah, that's what I'm leaning.
you have correct guesses in the chat. The chat is
Beating us up again.
Jose Lima.
Not Jose Lima. No.
I hate to use this one because Scott Proctor.
Not Scott Proctor. He was a Dodger at one point, though.
I'm K'd out then. Joe, you have 2 Ks, I think.
Yes, 2 Ks.
And Corey's got 1.
I got one. I got to throw out another one here.
Look at the chat. Let's see what you guys got.
Christ.
Oh, yeah. Let's go on. Damn. No, yeah.
Brad Penny.
Not Brad Penny. No.
I was trying to think of mid
I feel like that was a good guess.
guys who played
Yes,
with the
by the way, to answer the you guys can guess, but we're the folks that are still guessing are not going to actively look into the chat because we don't like to cheat or Google the answers. So
Besides Joe.
If I Googled the answer, I would have gotten it by now.
yeah,
Yeah,
that was the point.
We'll see what your
What
next
are we
guess is.
Yeah, I think
What do you
I
think? I'm
think,
milking it?
Yeah,
the guess
I do.
that Jack Swift and Hitman got is I think that's the one,
What was it?
right?
I
Right, Tom?
don't
That's
think
the one.
That is the correct answer.
Yeah.
I don't
Swift's
think he was ever a Yankee. Sean Green.
No,
is not Sean Green. Swift's first guess is I wish was the answer though, because it would be
what was his first guess? Oh,
Oh,
yeah, that would have been funny.
Corey Lytle.
not Corey Lytle. So I think
He was the Bobby Abreu deal.
I K'd out.
All right, Tom, give it to him.
Did Joe has one more guess?
no.
You're
Oh,
out. You're out.
we're looking for Luke Weaver's cousin, Jeff Weaver. Not his cousin. Jeff Weaver is who we're looking for.
Jared Weaver's brother.
I
Right?
named like
Jared
three
Weaver's
Dodgers
brother,
pitchers,
yeah.
but I didn't. All right.
Jared and Jeff are brothers. I don't think they're related to Luke at all. Swift's first guess was Drew Henson. If Brandon Whedon was traded for Drew Henson, that would have been great.
that would have been a hell of a trivia.
Both
question
guys in the Yankee system at times. So there
there.
we go.
141 here in the building about
Hide
the
my chat.
Our second question. This is from Corey. So Corey, what do we got?
Slightly different trade because it's not a Met trade, but I thought it was interesting because Yoenis Cespedes was tossed around quite a bit early in his career, and this is the deadline right before the Mets made the blockbuster deal. This deal was arguably a bigger blockbuster.
Coco
The
Crisp.
A's acquired John Gomes and blank for Yoenis Cespedes.
Coco Crisp.
Not Coco Crisp.
Isn't it John Lester?
It was John Lester.
Oh, so quick. So quick. I didn't even do a screen transition. Damn it.
I must have looked it up, you know.
Yeah, this was one. I was trying to think of random trades.
No, that was a good one.
Yeah, and I completely forgot John Lester went there, and it was like a half-year rental. A's made the playoffs, typical A's fashion, lost in the first round. So
That was weird because Cespedes was a decent player and
right.
took
That's
off.
actually it really wasn't a bad deal for the Athletics there because they still got Lester in his prime.
Yeah.
I think they didn't have a couple of playoff runs with Lester on their team, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, pretty good deal there. All righty. Well, let's wrap this thing up. So that was a point for Thomas for defense and a point for Joseph. So he pads his lead. I think now you're up to 11 there, Joe. So good for you. All righty. Let's get the hell out of here. It's 9:09. End this thing here on this episode 125. We'll see you next week, but not next Monday. Next Monday is Memorial Day. And obviously it's Memorial Day. So people are going to do Memorial Day stuff, whatever Memorial Day stuff is. I'm just going to remember all the troops that sacrificed their lives for our freedoms and our liberties.
You're full of shit. That's what you're going to do on all day.
Yeah, I'm going to
get
drunk
here.
as fuck.
Stop.
I'm going to get drunk as fuck on Monday.
Bad.
All right. So next Tuesday we'll be live. Instead, it's going to be at 8 p.m. once again, but it's going to be next Tuesday, the 27th for episode number 126. And it's going to be our checkpoint episode. First time we're doing this, Corey Favs. This is something that you created somewhat because you've been calling the Memorial Day as the first checkpoint of the season. Well, guess what? For the first time ever, we're actually going to make it a thing starting next week. So Corey Favs, save your good takes.
Corey has.
I hope I'm in a better mood next week.
Yeah, so.
Well, we'll really get into the report cards of our teams as we get into the first checkpoint of the season. But that's it for Empire State of Baseball. Let's send it around the room for last lick. Starting with Tom, we'll go to Joe, then Corey, and I'll wrap this damn thing up. Go ahead, Tom.
Let's go Mets. Let's get a comeback here in Fenway.
Yes, sir.
Mets down 3-1 at Fenway right now. Offense has left a village on the bases,
which is what they've been doing.
That's unfortunately their MO. Let's go Knicks. How about the Knickerbockers? First time since 2000 going to the Eastern Conference Finals. So let's see if they could pull some magic for us.
Let's go Knicks. Let's go Yankees. Let's go Mets. Yes, let's go Mets. Let's go Mets. Let's go Mets. All right, folks. We'll see you next week, next Tuesday, 27th. Have a happy Memorial Day weekend. Take care.